Hey guys, this is your hashtag student nurse RN Sierra coming to you live with another great video. I just wanted to say thank you for everyone who is supporting my page and is new to my channel. Please feel free to explore. Please feel free to listen. I'm going to try to bring new content every week. Even though I have a busy life just like everybody else, this was God's purpose. One of God's purpose over my life was for me to blog all my experiences. I have been through so much to get to this point. For those who don't know me, I am a current RN student who is at the end of her program in my last class. Yes, y'all, I'm about to take these boards and make some money finally. But anyway, I've been an LPN for 4 years, been a medical assistant. I had no experience at one point coming into the nursing field, so I wanted to have a channel for everyone, whether you have experience or you don't, whether you're CNA, whether medical assistant, whatever you are, you in the healthcare field, you know your purpose is to help. My channel is designed for you. I'm going to be putting out content that I think is very useful or helpful, or maybe some tips or tricks, or maybe things that I might hear, updates on what's going on in the healthcare field. I just wanted to encourage those who are striving to get into school to go back. This is time for you to go back. God is transitioning us from different positions. This is the season to go back and relearn and regrasp some certain things. Do not give up on your dreams out there, regardless of your situations, whether you have no money, have no vehicle, have no way to get to school, maybe you just divorced or maybe broke up with your boyfriend, whatever it is. If this is God's plan for you, then you're on the right channel. Thank you for all your support. For those who've been watching my videos, for those who just discovered me, I just started blogging. I was supposed to have been started. I was not being obedient, guys. God been told me to do this, but I was just like, didn't know how I wanted to do it or how I wanted to put everything together. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys today about my day. I had a good day. I had actually went to my first open house since I'm getting ready to graduate. Your girl has to get a job. So I went to open house for a new grad residency open house. So for those who may not know what a new grad residency program is, it's a program designed for new graduate RNs coming out of school and maybe not have experience. Now, this program is not open, let's say, at every hospital or every facility. Is open at certain hospitals, which I think is awesome that this program was even created, guys, because guess what? Most jobs now, boo, you gotta have at least like 2-3 years of experience. Like, you just can't come up in there like, oh, I think I could do the job. No, you gotta actually have experience to land a job. I'm talking about as far as hospital. Now, if you're doing stuff outpatient is a little different. You have more flexibility as far as your experience or whatever and all that. But as far as the hospital, you have to have some experience. And your girl wants to be an ER nurse. I know I want to be in critical care. And so for my field of choice, I have to have at least 2-3 years under my belt before I can even get directly into ER. But again, God can do the impossible. But for now, that is the word on the street. So today, let me just say, I only applied for hospitals that I know that I truly desire to be in. I wouldn't tell you guys that are in school or just want to know about this whole thing. Don't just sign up for jobs. That's just FYI for everyone that you know that you really don't want to do, but you're just doing it because it's a job and it's going to be money and it's going to pay your bills. Like, you will be miserable. You will be burnt out by probably the first couple of months. You don't want that. Like, be patient about picking your jobs and where you're putting your license at and where you're practicing at. Make sure you do your research. Make sure you look at reviews. Make sure you talk to people. Get in your community. Find out about this facility. Talk to patients. How did you feel when you went there? Was they treating you well? I mean, like, these are the things that I ask. Now, the hospital that I like, y'all, is called Santerra. And Santerra it has several Santerras, okay, in the state of Virginia. So it's not like one big old Santerra in the state where I'm at. It's like several of them, different locations. So your girl wants to work for Santerra. So anyway, I went to the open house today. I already applied for a new grad residency program because I realized coming straight out of school that I definitely want to have more, training on the job. Now, as an LPN, I had experience where literally I was hired for a job and was trained in maybe 2 to 3 days. And yes, your girl was kind of mad about that, because a lot of these companies, they don't like for you to just be training, because that's free money for you, because you basically not doing nothing but like shadowing around. And I don't think companies like that. But I don't think people realize that 2 days of training is not enough for a nurse coming onto a unit. First of all, you're trying to learn your EMR stuff in one day. Then the next day, you're just going to say, okay, here's the supplies. This is what you do, whatever, welcome. I do not like that situation. I was put into that situation before for an acute care skills unit as an LPN. And what happened was, like, my first couple of weeks on the job, I realized that I had 2 patients that were dialysis patients. Okay, never had dialysis patients before, y'all, but your girl had to GTS it, mean Google that. Okay, I had to Google that. I had to call the 800 number on the machine and figure this out. I was so intimidated when I found out I had 2 patients that was dialysis. I was never trained. Okay, so that's why I say, especially for RN, especially for all this RN accountability, the stuff that RNs do. Not saying there's a difference, big difference between OP and RN, but there's a difference as far as accountability in the hospital and those hospital policies as far as RN works go. That's what I mean. I do not want to be put in that same situation as an RN, and nor did I want to be put in a situation as an OPN. But guys and girls out there that is coming onto these jobs, make sure you are clear. If you're not competent in certain skills, you like, look, I need more time to learn this EMR stuff, or I need more time with wound care, or maybe I haven't done this skill in a while. Make sure you speak up and say you're not feeling like you're competent. That's a big word. Like, when you use certain words, people, like, it just gets people attention, rather than saying, I think so, I think I got it. Don't say I think so, I think I got it. And then once you're on the floor, you're responsible for your patient. So if you do something wrong, guess who's going to jail? You are going to jail, not the job that trained you in 2 days. So what we put out there is kind of like what we get back. So if you kind of like coming in like thinking you know it all, then they're going to treat you like you know it all, and then put you on the floor. And then I had to learn that. So don't come in, don't matter what kind of nurse you are, coming on to a new job, don't come in with the attitude of, I know what I'm doing, because that's how they're going to train you, like you know what you're doing. So come in like you fresh, you excited to be there, you open to learning, because then they'll definitely take their time and teach you, and then you'll be better, you'll be more competent on the floor. Now, when I say I had those dialysis patients, I literally had to learn dialysis within that day, because they had to get their dialysis done. And it was supposed to be like, I believe, like the 3 to 11 shift, not the 12 midnight shift to 8 o'clock shift, my shift. It wasn't my shift responsibility, but when I used to come into work, it was not done, because the patient either refused or think that the nurses wasn't competent enough to do the dialysis. So, like, anyway. So I had to learn this skill, y'all. I had called 1-800 number. Anytime y'all see these machines and stuff, they always have 1-800 numbers on there. And these people were awesome. They walked me step by step on a sterile procedure with, with the cath, and how to set up my bags and warm up my bags and weigh my patient and put the blood pressure in the machine and then wait till it beep. And it did. Most machines now, they're set for that patient, and they're programmed to do the same thing they've been doing every day. Because dialysis, the person's going to be getting this every day. And just be mindful, they get it for several hours. So if this dialysis is not started on 3 to 11 shift, then they're going to be on this dialysis machine till the next day, probably close to the next afternoon. That's how long it takes to do that type of dialysis, is what I'm talking about. There's 2 different types of dialysis, but we're not going to go into that. But anyway, just situations like that where there wasn't enough training. So as a new RN coming out of school, I applied for a new grad residency program, where this is actually a job that I'm applying for, but it guarantees me at least 12 weeks of training, and it actually rotates me throughout the whole hospital. So I get to train on every floor, and I can pick after the end of the year which unit that I feel much more comfortable on, and which unit I definitely don't want to work on, which I think is awesome, because as a new RN coming out of school, a lot of people want to be like, no, you got to work this unit, or no, you got to start with med surge, or no, you got to. So if the hospital's giving you opportunity to rotate throughout their whole hospital system, that makes you well-rounded and makes you can have a better idea of what other skills you might have underneath your belt. Because I think coming out of school, sometimes we could think a little narrow, like, oh, I just want to do ICU, when you might be good in the OR nurse, or you may be good at telemetry nursing, you may be good at maybe doing the ER, so it's good to rotate throughout the whole system, where now you know, like, okay, I also like the cardiac unit, so I definitely can see myself starting there and then working myself to the ER. You understand what I'm saying? So anyway, I applied for the program. That's the one of the benefits, that you get 12 weeks of training. You get your job, so you get your offer of all your healthcare benefits, tuition reimbursements, sign-on bonuses. They even help relocate you. Yes, they even got that benefit. So these hospitals have all these different benefits that come with you doing this new grad residency program. And now you start just like you started in school. You start with a group of people that's graduated the same time as you and is starting a new job. You start all together on this journey, and then they train you some more. You may do some sim labs. They're going to go over policy. They're going to go over what to do during the cold. They're going to do all types of things. Go over the EMR system. It might be Epic or Sigma, whatever. So they're going to go through all these things with you. And then you have your guaranteed 12 weeks, and you're going to have a preceptor again. So if you're an RN student, you already know that you already going to have preceptorship. But now on your job, you will have a preceptor or a mentor that's going to be with you, that you can shadow around, that's going to train you on the job, which is good, guys. So I would recommend this program to anybody that is interested in getting a job right out of school, don't have no experience, and maybe you want to go to a specific area of your choice. I would suggest do a new grad residency program. Now, they only offer it to certain times of the year, and then they only offer it. Definitely, they would prefer you have your bachelor's degree, but if you don't, you have to sign a contract saying you're going to get your bachelor's degree within the 5 years. It depends on the hospital policy when it comes to this program. And not everybody excluded if you don't have your bachelor's. You're not excluded. You can apply before you get your license. I say before you get your license, you can apply for this job. If you get the job, you just have to have your license before you start the job. So you have to know when you're going to be graduating. You got to be knowing, okay, I'm going to take my boards between this month and this month. And so you know when you can start the program. The program only starts at certain times. Some hospitals start them all the time. Some hospitals start them only like winter, fall, summer, spring. So you just have to figure out what your hospital policy is for that program. But I would definitely recommend it, y'all. I had such a good time. They fed us Chick-fil-A for lunch, okay? They talked about all the benefits. We got to meet all the hiring managers on the spot. So your girl was dressed, okay? I wore a lab coat, my scrubs. I was dressed. I was ready to go. And I made an impression because I got to see the hiring managers personally. Like, I had a chance to meet and see every location. I got to talk to every director, every manager. Like, it was so awesome. Like, they got to speak about their facility, what they offer. So it was kind of like good for me because I like to meet people and see the facility. Like I said, I used to do it as an LPN. I'm still going to do it as an RN. I like to see the facilities before I actually go into it. I don't like to just go into a facility just because I'm like, somebody told me maybe it's a good facility. I like to see it for myself. So it was like totally awesome, y'all. So for those who are thinking about an RN school, or you LPN now thinking about upgrading to RN, please go into a new grad residency program. I think it's awesome. Like I said, when you get out there, even as an LPN, make sure you are specifying whether you are ready to be on a unit, because they will throw you on a unit. And yes, sometimes as an LPN, you can work in a hospital, because I know a lot of shade be going towards LPNs, like they don't work in hospitals, like they only do long-term. That is a lie. I have worked in a hospital. That was like the first job second job I had once first job I had once I moved to Virginia out here was to work in a hospital, and it was intense, and the training was very short. So I had to say, if there was something. And as a new nurse, like as a new LPN with no experience, I was kind of like intimidated or afraid to say, like, I used to be afraid to say, like, I didn't know something, or I felt like they was going to judge me if I didn't know something, or if I wasn't ready. So I always had that little ego, but that ego broke as soon as I got back into RN school, and I learned a lot of things. And knowledge is power, guys. Knowledge is powerful. I changed my attitude. I learned how to speak up for myself and practice safe, because you don't want nothing to happen to your patients if you just one of those nurses, that actually care. Because you got some nurses that really don't care. Like, they just about their money, and that's cool, but money ain't everything. When you're trying to secure your job, you might make a few dollars. After a while, you may just like ready to go to the next job, because you're getting burnt out because your motivation wasn't the right thing. You know what I mean? Like, money is part of it, but I'm looking for somewhere where I can grow, where I can be okay to ask questions, where I can get some good training, you know, get some good roots and foundation. So when I'm ready to go to the next level of nursing, like I had a good foundation. Like that's what I'm looking for. But anyway, I wanted to chat with my peoples out there. Like, please consider the program. It's actually very good. Look for your area. They have it all over. So I looked into New York. I looked in Jersey. Like, they have these programs, new grad residency RN programs out there for new graduates coming out of school, which I think is great when you're trying to find a job in the hospital and you have no experience. So anyway, for my OPNs out there, inspiring RNs, whoever, please do not sleep on your dreams. Please listen to God. Have an ear open. This season is extremely important. Why we need to transition onto these new careers, these new things that God give us in vision, and don't get intimidated by the work, because what you put into something is what you're going to get out. And God has a bigger purpose behind what you're doing. It's not about the title and the money and who's better than who. If God designed you to be an OPM, be an OPM. If God made you to be an RN, be an RN. Whatever it is, somebody needs you out there. One of these patients needs you, right? And you have the skills and the capabilities to be able to touch somebody's life. That's a powerful ministry to be in. So don't sleep on this, guys. If y'all meant to be in the healthcare field, start researching, start volunteering. If you don't have no experience, start volunteering. I did over 60 hours of volunteer work on the med-surg unit. Yes, I did. Giving ice, greeting patients, greeting family, taking them to go get some coffee. I loved being a volunteer. First of all, I had no experience. I just love being in the environment of the hospital. I got to see the nurses at work. I learned what a laboratory was. I learned what different parts of the hospital was. Like, I was a good assistant. I started there. Then I worked my way up. Medical assistant, OPN, and now RN. About to be graduating. So baby steps, guys. Can't rush the process. It has to be God's timing. So anyway, I ain't gonna keep this video long. I just wanted to share. And thank you for those who are subscribing. Please subscribe. I'm ready to build my community up so we could talk. Y'all, please comment. Let me know what y'all want to see, what y'all want to talk about. We'll talk about it. And again, this is your hashtag Student Nurse RNT era, coming to you live in another video. And I'm going to keep this content coming. Please continue to support and check out other videos. There's some helpful tips and tricks in there. Trust me, I got a lot to talk about. This mouth can move. So thank you guys for those who are been commenting. I appreciate it. And I actually read your comments and reply. Yes, I do. So right now, yeah, I do. Every type of comment I see come to my phone, I get happy. It just motivates me to keep going and keep putting up great content and information that we all need to know. So again, I appreciate your support. You guys have a good night.